Welcome to another episode of the Greatness Engineering Hour show. This is Mariah, the Greatness Engineer, here today. And today we are going to the US and we are going to talk about, self-awareness, self-worth, and self-care as a key enablers for greatness and financial freedom. Yes, we are going to talk about financial freedom, and I think it's going to help a lot of people right now with everything that is happening. And hopefully you can actually ask some question to my guest. And just to give you a little bit of insight on my guest today. My guest is Dr. Constance Craig-Mason. She's based in the US, as mentioned to you, and she's a financial advisor, an award-winning insurance broker. She's a passionate international speaker, and she is a 9 times best-selling author. So she will have the opportunity to introduce herself and to give us more, information about what she's doing and the amazing, and you'll see the passion, when she talks about it. So let us know where you're watching from, because we need your voice. So if you're watching live, let us know where you're watching from, and don't hesitate to ask, any question or anything, to keep the conversation going, because this show is for you, and we bring you the best. We bring you champion. We bring you greatness engineers, like I call them. And it is for you to go to the next level of your greatness. So sit tight, have your pen and paper, because a lot will be shared today. So let me bring Dr. Constance now. Another episode of the Greatness Engineering Hour show, the show that is brought to you by the Telekima Global Leadership Organization.
Real is important is if you just look at the word compassion, when it's behavior, it's something that can be learned, and it is something that we can embody through habits and through our daily actions.
To get this idea that if we interject this wisdom intentionally, I call them needle movers. It's the needle mover that's missing.
Don't deprive the world of your greatness. Please. Don't do that anymore. Dare to excel, dare to be sexy, dare to be you, dare to be the best version of yourself. Impact yourself positively, and from there impact others, and you are not alone.
Hello. Welcome to the Greatness Engineering Hour show. It is such a pleasure to host you today. Welcome to the Greatness Engineering Hour show. And I just, when I was preparing this show, I was like, wow, I'm really, I anticipate this conversation. I know that it's going to be, inspiring, and there will be a lot of passion. But before we start, just want you to introduce yourself to the audience. Let us know who is Dr. Constance, and, anything that you can share with us to know exactly what you're doing.
Thank you, Miriam, for having me. Shout out to everyone who is tuning in all across the world right now. I am Dr. Constance Craig-Mason, based in the USA, right here in York, Pennsylvania. I'm super excited to be here and just share my passion with you. I am a financial planner, investment advisor, and an insurance agent. But more importantly, I'm a woman of faith. I'm a wife, a mom, a grandma, and I am someone who is a champion for those who want more from their life and from their professions. And I always like to share about more as an acronym for the intangibles that we may endure in life or that we want to pursue in life. So I want to pursue more great memories. I want to create opportunities for myself and others. I want to be able to build authentic, positive, reciprocal relationships. And I also love, love, love to create exposure and experiences for those in my family and also in my community. So that's me in a nutshell. I am someone who you want to partner with, who impacts change all across the world.
Fantastic. And yes, she is impacting change across the world. And that's why I really wanted to have this conversation with her for you, so that she can bring this insight to you and help you as you journey into your greatness. And today we're going to talk about something that really touch all of us. And we will be talking about, self-awareness, self-worth, and self-care, and how it is essential, to your journey to greatness, but also to financial freedom, which is part of, the greatness that we all looking for. And, as we start our, our conversation, I just want to know, how, what's the link, with, self-care, self-worth, and self-awareness to greatness and to financial freedom, because we don't know. We don't really know. I mean, a lot of people don't really know, and they don't really make the connection. So what is the link?
I'm glad you asked that question because, like you said, many people do not make the connection between their money or wealth and how they feel about themselves. In all actuality, self-awareness, self-worth, and self-care is a reflection of how you feel about yourself, the value that you place in yourself, and even how you prioritize yourself. I know I am a woman of color and I love to serve people in the community, but as they say, it's hard to pour from an empty cup. And I find that oftentimes we're leading with our passion. We're leading with, what we want others to experience in life, the positive side of it, because we may have gone through some of our own challenges. And we're like, I don't want my children, my family, my clients to go through those experiences that I have. And so we're leading with that. But oftentimes we're not taking the best care of ourselves. We're not actually dealing with maybe even some childhood traumas that still linger within us. We have some emotional upsets and imposter syndrome, as they say. We are thinking that, oh, well, if I just have the best website, or if I just have awesome graphics, or if I, offer a sale, then people will see value in what it is that I'm doing, or people will come flocking to my page to show support. But I have experienced, as I've gone into my 40s and learning more about myself and more about my faith and more about how this world actually works, I've been digging into and seeing therapists as it relates to bringing up, childhood traumas and healing them, and also seeing how any type of negative feelings I might have about myself shows up in how I present myself in a networking event, how I express myself, on a platform like yours, how I convey to prospective clients, the value that I can add to their lives. We have to really, really go inside before we ever go outside and consider creating impact in others. the first thing we have to do is create that impact within our own self.
And that's important to remember, because we are, especially with the generation that we are in. I mean, the fourth industrial revolution, it's about speed, it's about technology, it's about everything that is external to us, and
Right.
people tend to focus their focus go to the external part of what's going on in the environment and everything to be competitive, and they forget, like you said, to go in and really get inside and grab this greatness and make sure they are okay, because like you said, there's so many things that we went through, the trauma, and we don't heal those trauma, and they keep coming out, and then we realize at some point, okay, we start a business, we're not going anywhere, even with all the hard work that we're doing. And especially for us women as well, and a woman of color, we're so used to give that we forget about ourselves. We forget about getting ourselves in a good place before we can actually serve people. So that's very, very powerful, and I think that's a message that really needs to get out today. And one thing that, because obviously people don't have this, perspective, and don't know basically at the end of the day. So how do someone, set, it's himself or herself up to, prepare to bring this financial freedom and this greatness and really optimize on it?
Absolutely. I would say make an assessment. And oftentimes we'll think about assessments in the form of the numbers, right? What are the numbers reflect? So as it relates to our money, if we are uncomfortable, or if we feel like, what we want to accomplish, we may not have the resources right now for that, or we might not have the income for it. That's a very uncomfortable spot to be in, and to be honest about that space, and not that you have to stay there, but to be honest about it and say, hey, I would really like to buy my first home, but maybe you don't have enough income for that. Maybe your credit score isn't the highest for it. Maybe you've tried out for a few things and you've gotten declined. That has a lot to do with your confidence as it relates to how you can move forward in your life. We are a very progressive people. We want to be able to, from generation to generation, improve the lifestyles of our people in our home, people in our family, and also in our community as we extend out. But it's like, it takes money to be able to do some of those things, right? It takes money to be able to sow into initiatives that you really, really love and support, such as now we have breast cancer awareness and things like that, where people are like, hey, I would love to be able to donate, but I really am just so super tight right now. I don't have the extra money lying around. And you start to lose your confidence. You start to feel like, maybe I won't be able to accomplish these things. But I say, look at the numbers, meaning if you are able to tap in to the last 2 to 3 months of your bank statements, or even your credit cards, that will be able to show you a lot about where you place your values. It will also be able to show you a lot about how you feel about yourself too. Because when you're able to look at the last 60 to 90 days of how you have transacted business, right? The vendors that you have supported. So are you eating out a lot? You'll be able to see that in those statements, and is eating out, or is that comfort food something that you use to soothe yourself when you're super stressed out, right? Because you might not know that this is the way you compensate for the stresses in your workday or in your marriage with your children, but it also is costing you money, right? So that unhealed and not having coping skills is showing up in our pocketbook. It's showing up in our bank accounts, our credit cards. Are we swiping just to purchase something because we feel entitled, or we feel like, what I do for everyone else, I need to do for me? And that's very true. But if you find yourself that you're going and buy a Birkin bag, or you're going to, do the most, as they say, do the most just because you're emotional right now. Yes, we should be able to see the fruits of our labor. Yes, we should be able to enjoy our lives, but we need to be able to do that within reason and within balance and with a plan. So I would say at the numbers, right? Pull up those statements and really start digging in to see where the money is going. Of course, we know we have to take care of our household expenses, right? The things that keep the lights on, keep the four walls here for us, the transportation, all of that. But beyond that, where are we spending our money? Because it could be a link to something that's healed in us. It could be a link to something that we're putting money into that does not serve us well. And it's away from our cash flow that we could be using to save and invest. It could be eating into the monies that we will want to put towards initiatives that matter the most. And so I say assess first, look at that, and then don't beat yourself up about it. Just all you're doing is assessing right now, right? That's all you're doing, is figuring out where the numbers are. Where has that money been going? And if you can connect it to some emotion that you felt at the time or some tragedy that was going on in your family, there's usually a reason why we're spending or saving or the lack thereof in our lives.
Wow, powerful, and that's amazing, because as we industrialize everything, we tend to forget about pausing, because everything is automated, so we don't go back and look at like you said, sit down and really get this assessment, because it tells us a lot. And sometimes it's also because we don't want to see the reality. At the end of the day, we want to keep going. We know there is a problem, but we don't want to face this problem. We don't want to sit down and say, okay, what's happening, and let's solve it, because it's scary. It's really, like you said, not believing in ourselves and getting stuck, in this process. So it is important that, we take the time, we stop, the rush, take the time to sit down and really look at where we're going, where we are, and what are the things that are not serving us. That's really what it is all about. If it's not serving us to spend so much money in an area, we have to really, it might be hard, but we have to do it if we want to be in a good place at a certain point. So we're going to have a break, and we will be back, to continue this exciting, conversation. I hope the audience is loving it. And if you're watching live, please, let us know where you're watching from. And if you get the opportunity to watch the replay, you can still, comment, and we'll address that with Constance, at a later stage. But don't go anywhere. We're having a short break.
When I left Disney, I met lots of people who are entrepreneurs and just said, look, I'm starting. What advice do you have for us? And I got some great advice. And there was a few things that were key. First of all, and as you saw in the video there, keep it simple. Be simple about what problems you solve.
When people think about retirement, Murray, they think about somebody in their 60s and 70s and 80s. When you say retirement, and so when I talk to young people, they almost like disconnect from, well, I'm not ready to retire. And I'm thinking, well, what age? Let's change that word retirement. What age do you want to stop working actively for your income and have your income work for you?
What are you hoping for? That means that there's a future. That means that there's something that you yet still need to be realized and materialized in your life. And if you have lost hope and you're not hoping for something, that means you're lost. So we need to get you back to the place of being able to hope again.
The great Dr. Willie Jolly once said, a setback is just a setup for a comeback. We've had a lot of setbacks over these last many months. And it may have gotten you to the point where you don't think a comeback is ever possible. But I'm here to tell you, it's never too late.
Trust the process. So many times we get stuck and paralyzed from taking the first step and taking action to get out of that transactional to the transformational of our own lives because we're afraid. But trust the process. Take that one little microscopic step. And I tell you that once you do that, that will increase into another step and another step and another step. So that's what I'd like to leave with you today.
You are an original. You don't have to worry about what anybody else is doing. I've had so many people try to mimic or duplicate what I'm doing, and I don't have a problem with that. And I'll tell you why. Because if God didn't give them the exact same vision, it may work, but it won't work like the vision he gave me. So it's really not competition, it's something else. So don't let fear or competition stop you from going forward.
My message for today is delay is not denial. It doesn't matter how long it takes you to accomplish what it is that you want to accomplish in life. Do not stop until you get what it is you know God has for you.
Plan it, see it, anticipate it. Plan what it is that you want to do. Plan where you want to go. See it in your mind, visualize it, and then anticipate it. Know that it's going to happen.
So we are back with Dr. Constance, and we are talking about, the link between self-worth, self-awareness, and your greatness, but most importantly, your financial freedom. And one question that I have, Dr. Constance, is, what are the signs, of poor financial well-being? Because sometimes, we just, go by, but if we have kind of, tips or anything that can tell us, okay, I see this sign, so it means that I'm going, the wrong way. So is there any sign, as a coach and as an advisor, what are the signs that you're looking for?
That's a great question. And I actually had a talk yesterday at an empowerment event that I was at. And I talked about financial well-being. I defined it for our attendees. And it actually kind of stems from this nonprofit institution called the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. And so they actually define financial well-being as a state of being where you're able to handle your current obligations as well as your future obligations, and you're able to have freedom of choice to enjoy your life now and in the future. So the easiest way to break that down, or to assess, like we talked about, is looking at it as like a quadrant, right? So am I able to handle easily my current obligations month to month, day to day? And then am I feeling confident about my ability to handle those expenses in my golden years or later in life, right? So it's really a assessment of your literacy, how much you understand about money, and also your capacity. Do you have resources coming in that you can use to be able to meet those needs? So some people are retired, some people are actively working, some are entrepreneurs. So that has to do with how much resource you have, and that lets you know how confident you can be. If you're understanding money and managing it well, it will lead you into that freedom of choice, which is the next component of it. So freedom of choice, we all like options, right? We don't like to be, stuck in a place where we feel like we can't move to the next position. So freedom of choice, again, if we are able to manage our money comfortably the right way, then we'll have plenty of options as it relates to how we live our life now. And we talked about earlier, the experiences, the exposure, the opportunities, all of that comes by freedom of choice from understanding money, doing the right things with that money, right? So the resources that you have. And then that sets you up for being able to also enjoy your life in retirement. So it's not, woo, have fun now, and then I have no money for my golden years, or it's save, penny pinch, and then you get to your golden years and you have yet to have enjoyed any experiences along the way. So I feel like there's some balance with financial well-being. well-being as it relates to, what we understand about money. And that's why formats like this is important, because we can share knowledge in easily digestible bits where people can make change, and then they can see the changes that they are making, the improvements along the way, and then they get excited about that and say, well, I could do this in a year. What could I do in 2 years? What could I do? Right. And so that lets you be more confident. It allows you to see that when you prioritize yourself, it does work out for you and everyone around you, because they can model what you're doing. So self-worth, self-value, and even financial well-being, they all kind of tie in, because we do know that we are triggered by things that cause us to say and do things that we probably wouldn't had we not been triggered. And so it's really important for us to figure out, what are those things that make me get off track when I am doing the right things for the right reasons? Something has happened and now I'm emotionally distraught, or now I'm just swiping my credit card, all willy-nilly. Something has happened, and that's where the self-awareness comes in.
And that's very important, like you said, to really pass this message, because sometimes we're just in the we're just in the dark, really, and that's why we really wanted to to have this conversation, because I know it's going to help so many people. And and with what's going on right now, obviously we see everything we talked about, going inside, obviously, which is the first step that we have to take. But after that, you go outside and you see what's happening, especially the economic meltdown that is in front of us. And in such a time, what are the key steps that when obviously you've done the assessment and things like that, what are the key options, the key step that we can take to keep staying in on the right track?
Yeah, so I would say focus in on what it is that you can control. The pandemic and even the market crash back in 08, 09 was an example of third-party things that happen in and around our lives that we kind of feel taken aback by. It's like, wow, I'm doing the right things with my money. I'm happily, in a great relationship. My kids are fine. And then all of a sudden, it's like, boom, now you can't go outside. The pandemic showed us that, even how we related to one another, someone was dictating that, right? They were dictating how we could love on one another, how we could go to the doctors, if we could show up to work as we normally had. We had to pivot in our business, right? And go more remote than maybe that wasn't our thing before. And these are the things that make us feel really out of control. It make us feel like, we're not winning, we're not, even as adults, we're not able to dictate how our day goes. It's really in the hands of someone else. And we are still feeling some of that lack of control as it relates to money, the economy, Congress, for a lot of us in the States, they hold the key to whether or not we get stimulus money or whether or not our local laws change around us in our benefit. And so when you feel that out of control, lack of confidence, you're feeling like, oh, I can't win right now. Focus in on what it is that you can control, right? So if you are blessed enough to have income, resources, clients, things of that nature, be the most specific about and intentional about where that money is going and for what benefit, right? And so oftentimes outside of just taking care of our regular expenses and, paying down our debts, which is important because that lets us know that we're being financially integral, right? So if we borrow money from some institution, we have resources to pay that institution back. We have built a great relationship with them. So now they can trust us with more, right? So they can trust us with now a home loan if we paid off our car, or, if they see that we are not paycheck to paycheck and we have all these fees on our checking account, they can offer us lending from a line of credit or something like that. So focus in on what it is that you can control. That helps to build your confidence. That helps to create great relationships, with lenders and with other small business owners that you might be around. Even when you don't have all the money, maybe you can barter and leverage each other's talents and skill sets to be able to still get some things done that you want to get done. So Instead of feeling hopeless and helpless, just really focusing on what you do have control of. And a lot of times you'll find that there are people who will want to partner with you, who will want to add value to your life, whether it's in a personal way or a professional way. Just focusing on that, and get yourself a list of those resources and those people who will be in your corner to help you get through these moments like this.
And I like what you're saying is, looking at partnership, because sometimes we limit ourselves to looking at, our own world and how we can solve it by ourselves. But sometimes we have the network, we have, we have the possibility to reach out, but we don't reach out, and it can actually, continue to bring us even, more down, instead of, asking. And even if, the worst that we can get is that the person say no, but we have to still, ask and see, what are the options, that are available for us. I was wondering, as you, advise people, and what I've seen here, especially in Australia, is that women actually tend to, lag behind, especially when we look at, building, financial sustainability. So different reason, and I would just want to ask if there's something that you see, in your, interacting with people, that, women actually, they are lagging behind in terms of planning, and especially long-term planning, investing, and really going after, the financial freedom that they, we are all looking for. Is it something that you see, or you think that, it's nothing to do with the gender?
No, there definitely are gender gaps in pay. There are gender gaps in terms of promotional opportunities in our workforce. And even in entrepreneurship, I find that women are not getting as much access to capital as we would desire to have for the big passions and the big initiatives that are in our hearts and desires to do. Oftentimes people aren't lining up around the corner to be able to give us that lending or give us that opportunity. But that is why, it is important for us to deal with ourselves and have the confidence to create the tables and opportunities that we want to see, right? Create those opportunities for partnership that we want to see one to another. I know for myself, over the last several years, I've been able to take what passions that I've had and what things that I felt were important enough, which is love, money, entrepreneurship, leadership development, empowerment. Those are the kind of things that are really important to me, in addition to finance. And I have been able to go out on social media over the last few years and find people who have those similar passions and say, hey, here's what I bring to the table. Here's my lane of brilliance, if you will. What do you have that you could share, that we can come together in some kind of form of a summit, a live, an event, a book project, anything that we can do to generate revenue. Because I have this motto called "We All Eat." So we will all eat if we come together and we bring our skill sets, we bring our passions, we bring our networks, like you say. If you have a thriving network, that will increase your net worth, because this is an opportunity for you to share, what do you have in your storehouse? What kind of passions that can you sell? Are you consulting? Do you have a product-based business, a service-based business, a non-profit? What do you have that we need to know about? And if you're not confident, right? If you're still having imposter syndrome, if you are going through something right now, it doesn't have to be something that you've had from your past, but maybe it's a divorce, something that's like, wow, I thought I had a partnership for the rest of my life, and now I'm having to deal with this in the midst of raising children, in the midst of trying to climb the corporate ladder. Like, you broke my heart, and that's a real thing. And I have to still move forward, and I have to still have a positive attitude. And so, these are the things that we are going through as women, but we are super passionate. We keep our heads high. We are resilient. We persevere, and we do have the mindset to partner with another. And it has worked for me throughout my whole entire financial career. And more recently, as I delve further into entrepreneurship, I've been able to see that people will show up when they see that you are excited and dedicated to what it is you say you want to do.
And that's what I like, and to remind people that there's always something that you have to give. There's always something that you can give, even if it's not money. There's always something that you can offer. So just ask and connect to see how you can bring something to the puzzle of someone, or to a group of people, because there's always something that you can bring. So we got to have another break, and we'll be back with you again for the last part of this show, to really understand what you're doing, and really delve into the different projects that you feel like are very important to support whatever financial freedom that we're going after, or support the greatness that we want to have in our lives. So don't go anywhere. We will be back in a few minutes.
Is Kasia Trepanier. I'm from Hammond, Louisiana, which is about 30 minutes outside of New Orleans.
Our end thing is love, community, and never forget about the people that paved the way.
Art is the only medium to help us understand that there is a lot more to life than fight.
Whatever you do in your personal life trickles into your business life. And a lot of times people fail in business because they have not succeeded in life.
I want to be able to be contributing, one of those guys that really are doing significant work to better the lives of people.
Every change is linked to a consciousness raising, and change is conscious. And if you want to change something in your life, start with your breathing. Start to work on your breathing.
Leave something for people to learn from. Make a video, write a book, teach, go around, teach the younger generation or the next generation to help them become or follow the path that you've been.
So we are back. We are back with Dr. Constance, and as you could, if you're joining us, we're talking about self-awareness, self-worth, the link to financial freedom and greatness, and how they, the importance that they play in those, in those fields. And, one thing that I really want to know, obviously, with, there's so much to talk about, it's a very large, subject, and we can't really, address it in such a short term, is really understand, what are, the key challenges and the key opportunity right now that you foresee, for any of the people in the audience, something that you see that we should be focusing on right now?
Yeah, I will say even right now in the US, this is one of our awareness months. There's plenty of awareness going on right now, but one of them is this is National Book Month in the States. And so here's an opportunity where we get to, revisit our favorite books. We get to look for new books to read. We get to support authors of color, for example. We get to share out good content as we come across it. So this is really a time where literacy is taking a forefront. And I love it because we do have an awareness month in April that's related specifically to money. But I'm the type of person where I am an avid reader. I am someone who is naturally inquisitive. So I'm always reading something, watching something. And this is a time where if you are financially challenged, right, use this as an opportunity to find a book, a resource, something where you can improve in that area. So whether it's related to savings or building your credit up, or, as an entrepreneur, how do you create benefits as you had when you were formerly working for someone else, now you need to know how do you create those opportunities for your business and any staff that you now have. So this is a great time to pursue knowledge, right? And it's also a time for you to actualize some of the knowledge that you are learning. And, this month in particular, we have a book coming out actually tomorrow where I gathered together some of my colleagues in finance, and we have put together our tips, tools, strategies, insights, and even giving you a look behind the curtain to say, who are these people? Why should I listen to them? Do they have any challenges or experiences that they have overcome? Yes, they have licenses and designations, and those are all important. But as a human being, right, is there a connection between challenges and struggle and perseverance that I can glean from these people? Because we are all human, right? And at the end of the day, whether I have letters behind my name or not, I may have experienced something as a woman, as a wife, as an entrepreneur that you can connect to. And so we have this book coming out tomorrow. It is actually a third volume to a book series that we put out during the pandemic, where we were connected with other Black married entrepreneur couples. And at that time, in February of 21 and February of 22, my husband and I got together and we brought some people to the table in the aspect of like partnering, like we said, collaborating. And we were like, listen, what do you know that these people need to know as they're sitting at home, as they're scratching their heads, trying to figure out how to pivot, if they're going to go to work tomorrow, if the job is still open, what can we share with these people to enlighten them and show them that they can still make it? And so the Money Talks book series started at that point, right? February of 21 and 22. We had 35 Black married couples who shared their content. And then we launched those books on a multi-day free virtual conference that ended up being an international conference where people could come in, network, collaborate, learn, grow. We had fun. We had music, DJ. It felt like a real in-person event. And it just started from an idea, right? An idea that it's like, listen, instead of us just complaining about what we don't like, how can we change things? How can we use our resources and our networks to come together to bring about change? And so we created a village of people supporting people, entrepreneurs pivoting and networking, connecting, bartering, doing all the things. And so now Volume 3 is just an extension of that same energy, pushing positivity, pushing greatness. Show up to the platform with what it is that you do well and let us see action. So 24 Black financial experts came together for Volume 3. And we're touching on everything, everything from insurance, investing, credit, business credit, estate planning, title transfers, behavioral health, financial trauma. We actually opened up the first 5 chapters of the book, talking about positive mindset, the growth mindset, and also dealing with any financial traumas that have impacted our way to save or impacted our ways to investing and sharing our legacy even now, right? The things that we do today, the business that we start today, that sets up legacy. It allows your children and grandchildren and your family members to see start with an idea. You can take that thing, make it an imagination. You can put it on paper, speak something out of your mouth so people now know and can hold you accountable for the things you say you want to do. And yes, they can link up with you to help that thing come to life, as it has happened for us with this book project. So Volume 3 of Money Talks is now out on Amazon. We're super excited about that. And we're going to do a hard push this week to just let people know that we are not just talking about change. We are putting change into action. And we're starting a savings challenge, because what I learned in, I want to say early 2023, I saw an alarming statistic from Bankrate about emergency savings. So there's a report that they do every year. And they said that 57% of adult Americans cannot handle a $1,000 emergency. And I thought that was like, it's not a lot of money, but it is when you don't have it. It's certainly a lot of money to come across when you have an emergency or you have an urgency. Your tire blows, the furnace breaks down, the pipe bursts, the roof is leaking. These kind of things happen every day to everyday people. And when you don't have that money readily available, now you have to decide, if you're going to go without, if you're going to exhaust your savings account, if you're going to swipe a credit card, or unfortunately a payday loan, whatever you have to do to meet that need. And that's more than 50% of adults, working Americans. And so
Wow.
that was a statistic that alarmed me. It was something that I took to heart. I took personally, and I said, we're going to do something about that. So part of the savings challenge that we're starting is we want to encourage at least 10,000 people to save $1,000 for emergencies. Now, of course, you could save more, but if this is a new habit for you, then you have to create that and get the wheels going, right? You have to get the literacy that comes along with it. You have to have the consistency of saving every month to get that thing going. And so once you can save 1,000, you can save 2,000, you can save 5, and so on and so forth, because now you know that it's possible. Now you've committed yourself to being confident that when life happens, you can take care of it as an adult and move forward in life. And so this savings challenge is really important. The book is a tangible that we get to say, hey, there's real people in this book sharing their own experiences. And yes, our expertise, from being in our various niches, but you get to be the person that says, I'm not going to be in this position next year. I'm going to have more money in my savings. I'm going to have a higher credit score. I'm going to now purchase my home. Whatever the thing is that you want to do, now you have people that can hold you accountable. We have a Facebook group that we're going to let everyone come to for the challenge so that they can cheer each other on. They can share their wins. They can reach out to some of these experts and ask real questions in real time. And, we do have a savings toolkit, which includes the book and also a slider, which is called a paycheck protection booster. And so slide this up and down, and it makes it real tangible for you to pick an amount of money, a minimal amount, $3, $5, $7, whatever, right? And so it shows you how much you would have in a month's time, in a year's time, 5 years, 20 years, whatever. And it makes it real tangible for you. So this is part of our toolkit where you have the book, you have the savings tool, which gives you real-time ideas as to where you're going to find that $1,000. It says it's in your pocket. That's what the tool
It's in your pocket. I like it. I really like it because, sometimes you don't really need to do very complicated things, and I think we look at finances as something complex. And yet, when I was listening to you, these are, straightforward things that we're talking about here. Nothing really complicated. It's just for us to stay focused, to find the time to just sit down and do the work, like you said, actualize, take action, to not only do the, like you said, understand where we are, and also do the work, actualize, get new knowledge, and get close, connect with professionals who can actually help us. And then we get the discipline. But until we've done that, it is very, we find it very difficult. So that's really, an important. But I heard you talk about, legacy. And one thing that I'm curious about is, what is the legacy that you want to leave?
That's a great question. The legacy that I want to leave is the one that I'm living now, right? I tell my clients, I tell my colleagues, I said, live the life you want without worrying about money, right? And people have different levels of money worries, right? The rich, they have money worries too. The wealthy, they have money worries too, just like the people that are impoverished. It's just a different kind of money worry. And when I think about the things that I'm doing on a daily basis, one, to improve my own personal self, right? I am digging into anything that doesn't serve me well, it has to go. Right? It has to go. And so that is part of the legacy too, is that regardless of what you have witnessed in your youth, in your young adult life, in your life now, you do have the power to change that. And when you change that, you position yourself and others to be able to be confident enough to change their own circumstances. So my legacy is really about the more that you want out of your life. And it doesn't always have to be related to money. It's related to evolving. It's related to evolution. It's related to the dash. There's one of my mentors that talks about, the dash between when you are born and when you pass away. That dash between is the journey of life that you get to live, that you get to impact people, that when your day is done, they will show up on that day. They could be anywhere in the world, but they would show up to see you off and to honor you for the experiences, for the opportunities that you gave them, for the love, for the tears, whatever it was that you had the opportunity to share and you chose to do it. That is what your legacy is about. It's about the name you leave behind. It is about the resources that you leave behind for your loved ones. But you get to change whatever you didn't like about generations past. You get to change it in real time. Your legacy is now.
Wow, so powerful. So thank you for sharing that. And it is important, to think about our legacy, because that's what actually get us going, especially in time of challenges, as we try to, to get this financial, to get this financial freedom, this greatness, into our life. It is important we have clarity about, where we want to be and what's really the legacy that we are working for. And as you said, it's not just about money. There's, higher purposes for a lot of people, and for yourself, it's sometimes also, most of the time, actually, it's beyond the material, the materialistic, and the material and the comfort. So thank you so much, Dr. Constance. I don't know how to stop, but unfortunately we're getting, close to the time. And just want to know, how do people, connect with you to continue this conversation and to get involved in, and connect with you if they want to get involved in what you're doing, and also let us know a little bit more about how to join the challenge and where to get your book as well.
Thank you. Well, I'm on all of your favorite social media platforms as my name, at C. Craig-Mason, at C. Craig-Mason. To get involved with the challenge, to support it, or to also join, you can go to moneytalkschallenge.com, moneytalkschallenge.com. And there you'll be able to join our emergency savings challenge for free. And you'll also be connected to our Facebook community. So look for the email that comes out after you subscribe. But you'll also be able to get our toolkit, which is that Paycheck Power Booster calculator for $4.99, and also get the volume 3, right? Volume 3 of Money Talks, where we have 24 African-American financial experts here sharing their insights, tips, tools, and strategies of how you can become more financially confident and move into liberation for the options that you want to live in your life. And so again, moneytalkschallenge.com is where you can go to get information on the challenge as well as the toolkit.
Fantastic. So Money Talk Challenge, please make sure you go and register. I know sometimes, financial, challenges can be a taboo for a lot of people, but this is a safe, safe platform for you to really, get to understand where you are and get you started on the right foot, so that, you can get this consistency and this discipline that is needed, for you to, to get going. And I'm going to put the website here for you as well. So Money Talk Challenge. So you can go and register as soon as possible. It is for you. It is free. So take the advantage and make sure that it is you take all the advantage that are important for you. For and all the knowledge, because that's the important part. But also understand that it is important that you take action after that, because it's not going to be, it's not just going to happen after, after the challenge. You need to do the work, and you need to be, very, focused and consistent as you live this challenge. So that's the end of the show. But I really want to know, what is the message that you want to leave us with today before we leave this platform?
Yeah. The message I want to leave today is, even if you're uncomfortable in your personal life, in your professional life, in your business, it does not have to remain that way, but you do have to commit to self-awareness, self-worth, self-care, and get yourself in a position to build financial liberation.
Fantastic. So be aware that, your self-worth, your self-awareness is really linked to, your greatness and your freedom. Don't underestimate it. That's gonna, define, what's gonna come out financially and help you to, especially if you have a purpose, your goal, and help you to reach your goal faster if you understand, the links. So that's all for today. It has been very informative, and as as I was telling you, you saw the passion on Dr. The way Dr. Constance brought all of this to you. She's passionate about what she's doing. And please connect with her. If you want to know more, obviously in 1 hour, it's not possible for her to talk about, to share all her knowledge and all her expertise. You will have to connect directly with her and really, get to have the conversation if necessary. And if you want to get involved in any of her projects, please, connect directly with her. You can go through me and I will connect you as well. That's not a problem. And get to extend your network, because your network is your net worth, as you could infer from the conversation that we had today. And so I ask you to make those connections, and because this show is really for you, I bring you those, I bring you the expert for you to be able to get the knowledge and share this knowledge as well. And also the next step is to implement whatever is being shared today, because without implementation, you're just not growing. So thank you very much again, Dr. Constance, for your time, for really, sharing this insight with us today. And we stay connected anyway. And really, enjoy the rest of your evening, because it's evening time for you. And for me, it's going to be, starting my day, my Monday, my week. So with all this knowledge, I think I'm starting it really on a good foot, and I'll be really going well this week. So thank you very much, and thank you to the audience. The show will be rebroadcast, this week, and so watch out for the announcement, and please get to really be part of it. So that's the end of the show. See you next week for another episode of the Greatness Engineering Hour show.